Alberto Del Rio retains the World Heavyweight Championship against Dolph Ziggler. Told you. That's
Yeah,
all, pretty much all I gotta say about this. Knew
by
Ziggler was gonna win.
disqualification. I
This
predicted that would
was the
happen.
worst ending to a match I have ever. It was worse than the Ryback roll up. Seriously.
Nobody is that stupid that they're going to get into a ring and hit someone with the belt. All right, AJ has been wrestling a long time. I have to really suspend my disbelief really hard to think that she doesn't know what she's doing when she goes and does that.
It was ridiculous. It was a stupid end to a match. And then, have it. This is what happens when you hotshot people. Because I know they were like, oh, we'll just set it up on Raw that he just tells AJ off and that he's going to split up with her. And then it's going to create a feud between him and Biggie Langston. It was just,
it's that stupid filler stuff that I was talking about. Del Rio keeps the title. They move on Dolph Ziggler against Big E, and Ziggler doesn't get the title for a while. Telling you.
Yeah, but he didn't get pinned.
No, he didn't get pinned, but it doesn't matter. They did this just because they wanted him to keep something out of it. And I'm not expecting Ziggler to get a shot at the title until WrestleMania.
That's a long time. That's
I know.
Like 8 months from now.
I disagree. I think his feud with Big E is going to probably last maybe a month. That's it.
No, it's not going to last very long. Is that really a guarantee that those two are going to be having a match at SummerSlam at this point?
By saying a month is overstretching it. They might even blow it off on the next week's episode of Raw.
No, I hope so.
I think what we're going to see Big E against Dolph at SummerSlam, and then we're going to see Dolph included in a multiple man match at Night of Champions. And he's not even going to be the focal point.
But isn't it Night of Champions, though?
What did I say instead?
Well, you said a 6-man tag at Night of Champions. I mean, there's got to be something on the line there to make it interesting. I mean, that would kind of stick out of a pact of all title matches now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's some kind of a multiple person thing. And then they'll end up having somebody...
Oh, like for the title. Okay.
Yeah, and then they'll end up having somebody in that match move on to feud with Del Rio. And it'd probably be, like, I don't know, maybe fucking... I don't really see them giving it to him, but maybe The Miz, maybe Mark Henry even, because now he's turned babyface and everything like that. Like they're gonna move on. It's gonna be Del Rio against somebody else. Dolph Ziggler is gonna be sitting around with his thumb up his ass trying to figure out what to do.
I know. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for the next Del Rio Sheamus feud.
Oh God, I fucking hope not. I'd rather see anybody else face Del Rio. Actually, I'd rather see Del Rio get injured and vacate the title and them have no champion. Because I don't really even like Del Rio that much, but...
I'm still pushing for a Del Rio Sin Cara feud with Ricardo Rodriguez as Sin Cara's mouthpiece. I think there's money in that.
I think we're going to see Ricardo Rodriguez as Sin Cara.
Well, Miguel, I've never seen you and Sin Cara in the same room at the same time.
You're right. My cover's blown. That's why they don't have Sin Cara speak Spanish, because I don't know how to.
So match-wise,
it was good.
Yeah, you know, I have my faults with it. I have positives, but
Tony's pay-per-view of the year, people.
Yeah, well, you know what? See, that's the thing is, I don't think any other pay-per-views before this were worth shit. So this had some good points to it, which means it's pay-per-view of the year.
Payback.
Payback was
awesome.
I don't remember liking a whole lot from Payback.
What about their match from Payback?
I remember being super pissed off about it and not really enjoying it. Yeah. I thought the entire...
I guess you thought Hart and Austin was terrible too, huh?
No, there's a difference. That has an angle to it. And okay, yeah, there's an angle to it, but the angle doesn't make the match. That's kind of like saying, I really like that Damian Sandow wins, so by default, it's the best ladder match of all time, or something like that. To me, it was kind of, as much as everybody's saying this is a stupid end to this match, if it would have had that same stupid ending, but the whole rest of the match would have been amazing, it would have been an amazing match. I didn't like the one at Payback. I thought that it was, everybody was kind of overrating it because of the fact that it had that kind of a thing into it.
Yeah, and that and the storytelling was pretty good. It wasn't the longest match in the world, but I liked what they did. I thought it was unique. It wasn't just the fact of the double turn; it was how they got there, the build up to it.
The payback match, I felt, yeah, it was one of those things. It had to happen in order to initiate the double turn. So I was fine with it. At first, I was sitting there going, "What the frick?" And I was thinking to myself, "Okay, this is kind of a crummy match." But then we saw the attacks to their heads. We saw the commentary do their job, which you rarely ever see in a lot of these matches because they're sitting there plugging the WWE app, but instead they're talking about the effect this is having on Ziggler's head and stuff like that. It was beautiful. It helped the feud. It helped build these guys into the reversal of roles that they were placed in. So I had no issue with it whatsoever. In terms of this match, it was nothing in comparison to that. It was a good match, but with the
As
ending,
you'd expect.
the ending soured it for me. I felt they could have done a hell of a lot more with it.
The ending didn't completely sour me because I was expecting some sort of disqualification shenanigans going down. That being said, I don't.
Having AJ come in the ring and hit him over the head with the Divas Championship was just stupid.
Which, by the way, to answer your question about Payback, I'm looking at my review right here. Kickoff match, thought it was stupid that Sheamus and Sandal had that thing in the first place and Sheamus won. Good match for the IC title, very good Divas match. And then the whole rest of it, I've got negative stuff to say. Disappointed in the US title match between Ambrose and Kane. Didn't like the Ziggler Del Rio thing, other than the fact that there was the twist. Didn't like Punk and Jericho. Didn't like Shield against Orton and Bryan, and hated a lot of the 3 Stages to Hell match. So there you go. Yeah, I think when it comes to this World Heavyweight Championship match, the only thing that was important about the last one was that turn, and this one didn't even have that turn. So it wasn't as nobody's going to mention anything about it, except for the fact that it's stupid how they had the whole title belt disqualification thing, which a lot of people are really annoyed about this. I kind of was just like, this is a stupid way to end the match, but a lot of people are like really. I mean, you guys seem to be really kind of pissed about it too, like the stupidest way to end the match and all that other kind of stuff. Why does this seem so abhorrent in comparison to if they would have done something else like a disqualification per usual?
They didn't have to do that, but it soured the match. It's like they could have had, say, Del Rio hit Ziggler over the head with the championship or something, or AJ come in, she's going to go for Del Rio, she accidentally hits Ziggler, Ziggler wins by DQ, Del Rio fights and lives to fight another day, and AJ's apologising, and we go back to the whole same scenario that was happening on Raw. You didn't need her coming in there, whacking the guy over the head for no reason, and then Ziggler standing there going, why the hell did you do that for? It was puzzling.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that it makes no logical sense. And I know trying to argue logic in terms of wrestling is a moot point, but there's just so far you can take it before you're just sitting there going, that makes no sense even from a narrative perspective. If AJ really cared about Dolph, she wouldn't have cost him the title like that.
But she's supposed to be crazy, isn't she? Supposed to be not even thinking to the point where she just kind of went, I'm going to hit that guy, and that's going to hurt the guy who's facing the guy that I like. And I thought that it made sense.
No, but they created too much distance on the broadcast shows between the two.
Yes, that is true. They really haven't
I'll give you
melded
that one,
the two together. Yeah, I mean, Dolph's been doing his thing, AJ's been doing her thing. It just came out. It just felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like if she was,
which is weird considering they've been on screen together since December.
Yeah, if she was still standing by him, she was still checking up on him. She was still around him, and he was like going, look, stay. I've got something to attend to. Stay here. That's fine. They did have some moments where he was saying to her, "Oh, you're the champion now. You don't have to act like this," during WWE app segments and stuff. But it did nothing to build the relationship between the two or to prove dissension between the two. They just have her come in randomly, whack. Okay. Well, considering the situation, I don't want to consider the fucking situation. There and then, They didn't build the story enough. They didn't explain themselves. It wasn't even told in the ring. She just came in there and whacked a guy randomly over the head with the belt.
One other note I wanted to mention with this match that I thought was kind of funny was when AJ was kind of hanging around the entrance, I think if I remember correctly. Camera picked up this guy in the crowd just yelling at the top of his lungs, "I love you, AJ!" And it was so creepy. Did anybody else hear that?
Yep.
Yeah,
That was so weird.
Yeah.
It was just kind
That
of
was
symbolic of how everybody watches the pay-per-view.
It's like a whole thing. Just saying.
So that kind of knocks out all that talk as far as I'm concerned. Does anybody else have anything else to say?
Well, if you thought that guy was weird, you should have seen those tweets we were getting from aliens.
And if that was bad, you should have seen what I was putting on the Keeping Kayfabe photo about that great Carly woman. And she's underage.
So
that tweet from aliens that was like GX #F KL.
that was the best tweet of the night. And I don't even want to talk about the fantasy league when it comes to this motherfucking Ziggler. God damn it.
Tony, were you crying by the end of this match?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just
The rich got richer with Jester as he made a successful defense, netting himself. What was it? It was 35 points for Alberto Del Rio, successfully retaining a world title, and Dolph Ziggler lost 10 points.
Yeah, he's made out like a fucking bandit from this goddamn Ziggler concussion.
He is, man. Yo, fucking Jester's team should not be doing as well as they are.
No,
he has a
not
good
at all.
team, but they're not that damn good.
Tony,
It's
I'll
ridiculous.
swap you Ryback for Ziggler.
No, not a chance. I'm gonna sink with the ship if I have to at this point.
I just still don't get how the fact... I've got John Cena on my team, and I'm still not going ahead.
The numbers beg to differ on his team, apparently.
I don't know.
Well, you're close, Burhan. I mean, it's not like you're super behind.
Yeah.
Your team
I'm
might go.
kind of super behind in terms of Jester's team. I'm not that close. You're closer to me than I am to him, if that
And
makes
then
sense.
there's you guys arguing about your top spots, and then there's the one jobber like me who's on every roster who's just glad to be here.
And what is the shame is you don't have a bad team either. Your team should not be doing as bad as they are.
I came into it late, though, so that kind of fucked things up. But anyway.
So did Miguel, and he's doing fine.
Well,
That's
Big Show's
that is the point of someone who's like leaving the company to Brandon.
I'll be honest. I kind of regret not picking up the Big Show when I did because he is about to come back. I could have swapped him out for Brodus Clay, but the Big Show's coming back soon, Braden. That might actually net you some points.
I'm very, very glad to hear that. But yeah, anyway, we were talking about a Ziggler Del Rio world title match, I believe.
Ah, fuck that.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Ziggler lost. Del Rio won. We move on to SummerSlam from here.
Yep.
Exactly.
And we're gonna move on as far as episode 89 goes with the WWE Championship, John Cena against Mark Henry.